Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alexey and today I have a special guest, Arran Waugh. Arran is a metal musician, producer and mixing engineer who has created his brand new metal project which is called apexarising. And apexarising has released their brand new single which is called Bloodlines. Also, Arran is a student of URM Academy, and in this case he is getting knowledge on mixing and producing to work on his songs from URM Academy and nail the mix. And in our today's interview with Arran, we're gonna discuss how learning at URM Academy and at nail the mix helps him about producing, recording, and mixing his songs to make them sound great for the final release. You can check out apexarising Bloodlines single on YouTube. The link will be in the info box of this video. It's a huge honor to have you on my YouTube channel today, Arran. And let's start our interview. And the first question is, how did you and your bandmate meet and decide to start the project?
We met on URM job and project boards. I just put in an ad looking for a collaborator, and we connected. We connected straight away with Dom, and we just went from there really.
How long have you been working together?
So it's been about a year and a half now. So I think it was early February 2024. We've been working together.
Since you are based in different countries, how do you write songs together?
It's not as complicated as what you'd think in this day and age. So it's all remote songwriting, of course. We use things like cloud-based platforms, Google Drive, Dropbox. So I send him stems that way. He sends me usually a instrumental idea or rough riff arrangement. Then I just add a top line or some vocals over it. We go back and forth like that, and build on each other's ideas, and then until the song comes together.
Nowadays, for instance, digital audio workstations like Pro Tools and Studio One, they have cloud services. So, for instance, if you both have Pro Tools, you can use Pro Tools Cloud to exchange your musical ideas in real time. So do you use anything like that?
We have used something, I can't remember what it's called, but there's something, I think it's what you're on about. I'm in Cubase DAW, and I got Cubase. I switched over from Logic Pro. So mainly because Dom has that on his, has that DAW as well. So we have experimented with that and done some like top lines with him in his studio, recording that. But mostly we just do it on our own, and I can just do it in my own time away from him, and then send him it that way. But yeah, those are useful as well. Sometimes if he wants to do some of the tracking, but I often usually do most of the tracking myself.
How has your education at URM Academy helped with writing and producing your music?
Well, I'd been writing songs for a long time before I joined URM Academy, but for me, it's just been a game changer. It's technically, it's like I've leveled up. It's really helped me sharpen my production skills, mixing, mastering, everything. You need to know to do this. It's given me the confidence to do it, which I didn't have before the URM, joined the URM Academy. There's no need to outsource anything. So like in the past, I had to pay for a session musician if I needed somebody to do some instruments, that kind of stuff. It costs a lot of money. It's time consuming. You lose a lot of the creative control. So we have that now. We can make real-time adjustments whenever we like. So yeah, it's being part of URM Academy has definitely been a big part of that journey. I think I would really struggle to do it without, for certain, without that education.
Does education at URM Academy help you about music production of your songs?
Definitely, because on URM Academy we get the stems every month from a band, from a mixing engineer. So opening up them has been like, very, very enlightening. It's not, far off from what I was doing before, but things like routing and all that kind of stuff with the effects and seeing what the mixing engineers are using with the different plugins. It's been a real eye opener for certain. Production skills, everything, it's like how they do it, videos and stuff, some of the courses that they've done just gives you an insight in how maybe you can improve and, level up on your productions and stuff.
How do you manage recording and collaboration while living in different places?
It sounds like it would be really difficult, but, it's really worked quite smoothly, actually. And sometimes it has its advantages that you're not pressed with studio time and costs and things like that. And, there's less pressure when you're on your own recording and stuff like that. But, we both have, as I said before, we both have got a DAW. We both use Cubase 14 now, which makes it easier, like transferring stuff. He usually, I usually track vocals, my end, and do the lyrics and stuff. Reload it to a cloud, upload it to a cloud. Usually, I'll send him all the stems. He'll do like a rough mix. I'll do a rough mix of the vocals and stuff, how I want them to sound. And then we just exchange mix notes. And that's it really. It's as simple as that. It's not as difficult as what you'd think.
You are about to release your debut single, Bloodlines. How did the track come together?
It's been quite collaborative, so it's like, bouncing ideas off each other, different inspiration. So, he sends me the instrumental basically of the idea that he's been working on. I remember with this particular song, Bloodlines, he was really, really stoked about it, because we'd been working together for a long time and building a connection and trying to find our voice as artists. And, we want to find our sound, and it wasn't always like as easy as that. He's comes from a very different background to me and the kind of music he's into compared to me. But that doesn't have to be a clash. So sometimes it can be a clash, but if you work together, you can bring the strengths and inspirations of both your kind of like tastes in music, and you can come up with something quite unique often. It's definitely some slightly out of my comfort zone, the sort of taste that he was into, but it really pushed me as a vocalist to do stuff. So with Bloodlines, I know he was, he must have been playing some Doom or something like that at the time. And he just, as he said to me, I've got this really cool track at the minute. I think this might be a good direction for us. And he said it was based on like Mick Gordon style. The file was labeled Mick Gordon. And I just went from there really. And I kind of like sort of like channeled that kind of Doom, Mick Gordon kind of music. And we came up with this kind of like Argent style of metal, sort of mixed with progressive metal. And yeah, it was quite a concoction in the end. But it was definitely, we've both been active members of Neil the Mix community and URM. He's been part of it for much longer than I have. Unfortunately, he's a festival today, so he couldn't make it to the interview. But he is in control of the mixing and mastering side of things. But I do some like rough mixes and stuff, and tell him how I like things to sound vocally and in the mix, and some production stuff and things like that. But I think for me, one thing I said from the beginning was I wanted to be able to do songs quickly. And when you've got like two people in the band doing everything, like editing, production, mixing, mastering, it can be quite time consuming. You know, eventually, yeah, we would like to offload some of that stuff to other people, especially if we had a record label or something to help us to do that. So speed is of the essence, and URM recently came up with a course called Speed Mixing 2, which I know you've done that with us. So both Dom and me did that course together, and it just helped us like with setting up our routing, templates, so everything's just like sped up. So you know, we were very quick songwriting anyway. We'd get a song together like within a day, you know. It wouldn't take long, and then the rest would be like editing, working on the lyrics and arrangements and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, speed mixing in particular has helped us with that workflow for sure. And we're always like, you know, improving, and I'm an active member, as I say. I'm always trying to improve so that we can, you know, take it to the next level. That's basically the essence of apexarising, is like trying to strive for that level, but there's always the next level to achieve, you know.
What inspired Bloodlines, and where do you usually draw inspiration from when writing music?
We take it, you know, inspiration for like multiple things, really. Dom is, I know he's into his like games and stuff like that, and he's into his comic books and stuff like that. So we take inspiration from that. I take inspiration from life. Bloodlines for me sort of came from a place of frustration and kind of survival, really. And it's that survival instincts and like pushing through, you know, that's in our blood to survive. But I'm also I'm influenced by many things. I like supernatural stuff, you know, like vampires and stuff like that. They're kind of really good metaphors for life. And as an artist, I can kind of like I can escape through for like things like that and introduce them into my songs, you know, when we're dealing with like psychological issues, like you know, the internal monsters and all that kind of stuff. Bloodlines in particular was about like that constraint feeling and like keeping the monsters out, but also like dealing with like internal kind of anguish and stuff like that. And we all have this like dark side that we don't want it to consume us, and when we're trying to deal with outside sources that kind of push us to the limit, then we have to channel that in the correct way. So, you know, Bloodlines has a lot of deep meaning behind it, as do a lot of our as do all our songs.
What techniques or insights from Nail the Mix help you with the mixing and mastering for Bloodlines?
So the mixing and mastering, as I say, was done by Dom, so he's the best one to answer for that one. So I can't really comment on that. It'd probably be best asking him for that. But as I said, you know, we've been active members of URM Academy, so you know, that's helped us to achieve that.
If you could collaborate with any artist or band, who would it be?
That's a difficult question to answer, really. You know, we've drew our inspiration and influences from many bands. throughout the years that I've kind of listened to and Dom's listened to. But we're trying to do some unique, we're not trying to copy anyone. We're kind of taking ideas from people and see how they do it. But we're kind of evolving our sound as we go along. We've, in the process of writing like 20 plus songs that we've been working together and like building that connection. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of going for more of a modern sound, so I've incorporated that. Dom's more kind of traditional guy. So if we were collaborating with someone who likes our music, that would be amazing, especially if it's somebody we know and admire. It'd be great to hear what we could come up with, and maybe do a feature one day. I'm definitely up for something like that. Something that I'd really love to do. Work with other creative people and come up with something unique and interesting. We definitely went all in with Bloodlines with all our songs. Yeah.
What's next for apexarising? Are there plans to release more music this year?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we got a big back catalogue of songs, but we don't really know what we're going to do with them because there's been a shift in the songs. There's some pop stuff, there's some like traditional kind of metal stuff there. There's more the modern stuff. So I think we're probably going to go with more the releasing the new stuff at the minute. I don't know whether the other stuff is going to get released or reworked. We'll have to see. So there's definitely more music coming very, very soon. We're working on a few tracks at the moment to get them finished. Yeah, I think that's it really for that side of it. So yeah, it's very difficult for us to promote our stuff. So because we live in different countries, we can't actually gig at the moment. Although it's not impossible, but he's with his other bands as well. So it's really, really going to be tough. So we've got to look for unique ways to promote our music. So logistics wise, it's going to be quite tricky. But there are people out there that are kind of finding new ways to get discovered. Doing behind the scenes and stuff like that helps into our working process. So yeah, we're just enjoying it, and we're just gonna keep on releasing music, and hopefully you'll see us evolve, and you'll start to see good things for coming this way from apexarising.
Thank you so much, Arran, for such a wonderful interview. It's a huge honor meeting you, and it's great to see that URM Academy helps people not only about educating them on mixing and mastering, but also inspires people to produce their own music and to produce their own music on a higher level. So people not only want to share their music on SoundCloud, but also want to go after their goals, music goals, and work hard on making their music dreams come true, and work hard on making collaborations, not only between each other, but also collaborations with famous musicians or famous bands possible. So thank you so much for sharing your wonderful and very inspirational and very knowledgeable story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexei. It's been a pleasure. I totally agree with what you say there as well. It's amazing. Like the URM, I don't think I would have struggled. I would have struggled to find musicians to collaborate with if I hadn't have joined URM. And because the level is so high in URM, it's definitely opening doors to new musicians, indie musicians, to be able to do something like this, where it probably would be impossible otherwise. Yeah, the level is high with URM, so that's how you've got to be with a band to break through these days. You have to, the level is set high, the standard is high, and to be able to achieve that, you have to have some kind of education or some, be really good at your playing your instruments, and URM helps you achieve that. So it's great. It's fantastic. I can't be more grateful for the community, the URM community. It's been a great support in helping me to achieve my dreams and see where we go from here. It's it'd be great.
And also what I like most about this interview is that you are not giving up on your dreams. And if you cannot find real musicians to work with in your place, you are still going after your dreams. You are still pursuing your dreams by collaborating with people from different places and by learning from URM Academy and by learning from Nails the Mix, from different sessions on Nails the Mix. So in this case, I wish you all the success in this world. Because you deserve only success, because you are not giving up on your dreams easily, and you are working hard to make your dreams come true, and you are working hard on producing your own songs on as a high level as URM, has at the Academy.
Thank you, Alexei. I really appreciate it. Feeling the love.